All the suffering is your chance to grow. This is how also then I just started shifting, meaning I didn't regard suffering as something bad anymore that I don't want to have, let's say. Yeah. Meanwhile, it is like suffering comes because either I was not properly prepared enough, because I'm still missing something, I'm still missing a hint, whatever, but it is the chance for me to discover something more about me. And this is actually what always has motivated me.
Welcome back to Inspire Change with Jordan Mulligan, and today we have our second tea talk with Master Shi Heng Yi of the Shaolin Temple Europe. Also, I have a super exciting announcement for you guys today. My brother William has finally published his book, Simple Rules for a Good Life. This is a Stoic guide by William Mulligan, the Everyday Stoic. Go down below and find the link where you can buy it on Amazon, and also the audiobook will be coming soon as well. Today's episode was also sponsored by Huel, a quick, affordable, nutritionally complete source of food with everything that your body needs. Get exclusive discounts down below. Thank you to Huel for sponsoring the podcast. Let's dive into this amazing episode with Master Shi Heng Yi, where we go through again a tea talk and what Master Shi Heng Yi has been getting up to this year. Let's dive into it.
You know, who we are is made up. There's a large portion that's made up through our experiences, and you know, a lot of that experiences when we're young and we're a child, and you know, the world is new and different to us. And I think us growing up, I had a big family, I had my brothers around me, and we were inspired by all these different things. And I'm curious as to what inspired you. You know, can you see, looking back, if there's anything that led you to this point as in those younger, earlier days?
I don't feel well when I suffer. Okay, let's start like this. I don't feel well when I suffer. So of course, I am interested to know how can I make the period shorter of the suffering, or how can I accelerate that the suffering starts to transform and I would return back to another state. And therefore training has, for many years has always been my valve.
As I said, the same for us. We have always had training, physical training. That's why my sister powerlifts. It's why Luke and William, we used to do calisthenics. In our back garden, we'd have scaffold, and we'd build it into apparatus to do pull-ups and chin-ups. And we were always fortunate to have each other to compete against and fight against, and in a competitive way. So when you were younger, what did the training look like?
It was my normal Kung Fu training. It's just like the amount of time. How often are you repeating the form? How often are you repeating like the repetition of your push-ups? How often are you punching the bag?
How much of that was chosen? Like, as a kid, how much was you going, I'm going to choose to do push-ups, I'm going to choose to do...
I mean, you know, I jump a little bit. When people come here, sometimes they are afraid the training is too hard, okay? It's not gonna be the exercise that I'm giving you which is gonna be harder. I'm just gonna say we're gonna do push-ups right now. So now you can just like stand on the ground and your push-up is like this, okay? So let's say your immersion into the exercise is quite low. But if you do just one push-up, really going down and feel everything under tension and then go up, so which means you are actually the one deciding how much effort, how much precision are you putting actually into that one exercise. That is what makes the difference. And so the teacher also, when I was young, he just said, okay, do this, do this, do that. Yeah, but the intensity, let's say the seriousness that you put into there in regards to yourself, to really push yourself and use that method to change something about you, this is completely up to you. Nobody knows when inside of you the struggle starts. You know, that struggle. and where it's like, and then when that point comes where still out of nothing or wherever it comes, still suddenly, based on your thoughts, based on whatever you are creating in the mind or whatever, suddenly the last piece also comes out. So this is like something like an internal force. That internal force either coming from hope, coming from thinking about a loved one, many ways. But if you find something that suddenly can give you that boost, I don't know, I think I think it's something really special to discover something that the human can do this.
Yeah, I think as kids, I had the biggest inspiration. My brothers will attest to this, I believe. My mom was a single mom, 7 kids, shoestring budget, and we watched her raise us through absolute grit and determination. So for us, we had that inspiration to work hard because we saw our mother do it. And I'm curious, is there a point in your life that you remember where you would draw from that power? Like, was it from inspiration? Was it a loved one?
So on the one side, after transforming the suffering or taking the suffering as the reason now to do more intensity training, first of all, when these moments happened, I realized after the training, the suffering, first of all, was less. That's number one. Second thing is the same reason why I suffered before, when it somehow came again. It didn't felt so ground shaking anymore like the first time. So meaning something started to grow already based on this training. So for me, it was like, okay, all the suffering is your chance to grow. This is how also then I just started shifting. Meaning I didn't regard suffering as something bad anymore that I don't want to have, let's say. Yeah. Meanwhile, it is like the suffering comes because either I was not properly prepared enough, because I'm still missing something, I'm still missing a hint, whatever, but it is the chance for me to discover something more about me. And this is actually what always has motivated me. That it's not gonna get boring when you take it as a life challenge, as a life purpose. Find a way to end the suffering. If you need a life purpose, that's the one.
I hope you're enjoying this episode so far. Today's video was sponsored by Huel, a quick, affordable, nutritionally complete source of food with everything that your body needs. I've been using these guys for the past 2 years, and recently I've added their daily greens to my daily routine. Every morning I take 1 scoop of daily greens, and it means that I'm getting all of my greens every single day, and it tastes absolutely delicious. And I have used other daily greens products before, and this one is by far the best tasting and also has so many different things in it. And then also I always get my lunch in with a Huel on the go. Also, I've been using the Black Edition protein as well throughout my training process. So if you want to find out more, head to the link in the description where you can get exclusive offers down below with the amazing product of Huel.
That concept of chosen suffering versus unchosen suffering, like life will take a loved one from you. How much has it helped you to have chosen suffering through training, through the martial arts and those kind of practices, and discipline in general, and choosing that life of suffering at times? How much has it helped you to process unchosen suffering, like when life hits you with the death of a loved one or illness or something like that? Has it helped you along the way?
Kung Fu training, walking through the valley of pain. That's how is it known. Buddhist teaching, a method to help you overcome the suffering. The physical training, always putting you right onto the limit where the suffering or the pain, let's say, starts mentally or physically, and then you hopefully have a good teacher or a good group dynamic that is pushing you beyond that suffering or pain. Now, this is the way of growth. So number one is suffering is an essential ingredient of the life that we humans are living. So therefore, I think it's necessary to build up your personal relationship. What does it mean when suffering appears in your life? And in my opinion, ignoring, no way, it's going to come back. Running away from it, impossible. The pain is running faster. The suffering runs faster than you. It's going to come back again. There's only one way, I really think it is. You need to push through. So I know what I want. But when the suffering comes and now somebody tells me you need to push through, do you have the mental, do you have the physical abilities to push through? And if you say no, well, then we need to develop them. And we develop them very, very lightly with small things. Yeah, you can't have your thoughts, or you can't sit still for 5 minutes. Let's start with 2. Okay, the 2 are okay. Okay, let's move up 3 minutes. Move up 5 minutes. Move up 10 minutes. Okay, now your mind can be still for 10 minutes. Let's increase the pressure on you. Instead of just sitting like silently, nothing moving, let's give you more disturbance, which means this time we go into a horse stance. So now let's start again. Try 10 minutes to not think about the suffering, to think about the pain, to let the pain and the shaking and the burning, to not let it disturb you. Now we have created a new circumstance in order for you to test how did your 10 minutes ability to keep the mind steady can now be applied to the moment of that additional pressure. And then we expand this all to now the real life pressure that comes when unexpected things hit your life. There it is the same. How much, for how long can you maintain your unbroken state? Okay? And this is the practice. This is where it leads to. I realize you go higher, you go even more alone. I had the idea, you want to reach more people. Somehow it's gonna be easier for you because maybe people are somehow gonna help you up on the way. I don't know what type of, but it's not like this.